search for the killer of a woman found dead in a car on the Cross County Parkway in Westchester County.
Yeah, police say 33-year-old Ariela Mejia-Polanco had been shot several times. Her body was discovered Sunday morning. She was a nightlife influencer with 500,000 followers.
And tonight, those followers are hoping investigators are successful in their efforts to figure out who killed her and why.
Here's Omni News reporter.
On a quiet Sunday morning, a patrol officer spotted a luxury SUV parked on the eastbound shoulder of the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon, New York. Inside, a woman was slumped over the steering wheel. A routine check turned into a chilling discovery. She was deceased, killed by gunshot wounds. Authorities quickly identified her. It was Ariela Mejia-Polanco, a 33-year-old content creator with over 500,000 followers on Instagram. To the nightlife community, she was a legend known as Ariela La Langosta, the Queen of New York. This wasn't a random act of violence. Investigators believe it was a targeted hit, an attack on a woman whose life seemed to be a whirlwind of fame and success. What do you think really happened here? Let us know in the comments below. Hey everyone, and welcome to Dark Trace Crime Stories. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. Your support and insights in the comments are what make this community so special. If you believe every story deserves to be told, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Now let's get into the case. Before the tragic headlines, before the stark image of an SUV on a parkway shoulder, there was Ariela Mejia-Polanco, a woman who built an empire of influence with her vibrant personality and unwavering spirit. Born into New York's Dominican community, Ariela, at 33, was an undeniable force. Online, she was a phenomenon known to her over 500,000 Instagram followers as Ariela La Langosta. Her feed was a captivating blend of high fashion, modeling, and an intimate look into the bustling New York nightlife scene she inhabited. Her presence was iconic, her style instantly recognizable, and her reach immense. Ariela's public persona was a testament to her confidence. She moved through the city's most exclusive venues with a camera's attention, sharing glimpses of a glamorous life that drew in hundreds of thousands. But those who knew her best spoke of a beautiful balance, an on-camera bravado that masked a profound kindness and a genuine humility. Friends and colleagues consistently described her as a generous spirit, a loving mother, and a daughter who cared deeply for those around her. She was remembered for the joyful energy she brought into every space, her ability to make people feel seen, and the way she lit up any room. Her professional life was deeply entwined with New York's vibrant, demanding nightlife. Ariela worked as a bartender and promoter at renowned establishments, including Opus Lounge in Inwood and Icon New York in Manhattan. These were busy rooms where charisma was currency, and late nights were the norm. Icon New York publicly remembered her not just for her presence, but for her strong work ethic and the respect she showed staff and guests alike. Her ability to connect with people, both online and in person, was the cornerstone of her success in this dynamic world. Beyond the bright lights and social media fame, Ariela's most cherished role was that of a mother. She leaves behind 2 daughters, aged 13 and 14. This detail resonated deeply with the public, adding a profound layer of grief to her untimely passing. Friends and family spoke of her devotion to her children, a priority that grounded her even amidst her demanding public life. The heartbreak expressed by her family was profound, a testament to the loving bond they shared. Ariela's reach extended beyond the confines of nightlife and her immediate followers. Her visibility naturally connected her to other significant figures in the music and entertainment industry. Most famously, she maintained a public friendship with rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine. She appeared in his 2023 music video, WAPI, and he affectionately referred to her as the Queen of New York. This association meant her image and influence circulated far beyond club culture, touching the broader landscape of music and pop culture. Following her death, Tekashi 6ix9ine and other nightlife personalities paid public tribute, acknowledging her impact on their lives and the New York social scene. Ariela owned a large home in the northern parts of New York and also maintained an apartment near 42 Broad Street, further illustrating her established presence and success. Her life was one of undeniable achievement, a testament to her drive and her ability to cultivate meaningful connections in a highly competitive world. She navigated a sphere where her online persona and real-world interactions converged, creating a unique and powerful legacy that made her a beloved figure in New York and beyond. To understand how a life so public could end so privately and violently, investigators had to reconstruct the hours leading up to the tragedy. The final known chapter of Ariela's life began at Icon, New York, the Manhattan restaurant and lounge where she had worked her shift. According to her family and colleagues, her workday concluded in the early morning of that fateful Sunday. The clock read approximately 4:30 a.m. when she left the venue. Her next movements would have followed a routine she knew well. Her large home was in the northern suburbs of New York, a straight drive that many in the city's nightlife industry make after their late-night shifts. The route north to Mount Vernon, with its fast roads and familiar exits, was a common one at that hour. It was a pattern of life, a simple, predictable journey from work to home that she had likely made countless times. But on this particular morning, something or someone turned that routine journey into a fatal one. At about 8 a.m., she was found deceased behind the wheel of her Mercedes SUV on the eastbound shoulder of the Cross County Parkway, not far from the Broad Street exit. The location itself spoke volumes. She was on her way home. Investigators now believe she was shot while driving. The working theory is that she was killed in motion, and the car either coasted to a stop or she managed to pull over before succumbing to her injuries. The physical evidence on the scene, including the trajectory of the gunshots, supports this devastating conclusion. This wasn't a static confrontation in a parking lot or a sudden ambush on a quiet street. This was a moving attack, suggesting a degree of planning and an intimate knowledge of her movements and habits. The scene of the crime presented immediate and significant challenges for the authorities. Highway shootings are notoriously difficult to investigate. There are no quiet corners, no direct witnesses, and the environment itself is in constant motion. Detectives had to work backward, seeking to reconstruct the moments leading up to the attack. They had to canvass for cameras on on-ramps and service roads, hoping to catch a glimpse of a vehicle following hers. They had to pull digital traces from license plate readers and toll gantries, looking for any data that could pinpoint who else was on her route at the same time. The investigation wasn't about finding a single witness. It was about connecting disparate data points from an entire digital and physical corridor. The starkness of the timeline, her leaving work at 4:30 a.m. and her body being found at 8 a.m., left a chilling gap. What happened in those 3.5 hours? Was she followed from the club? Did she stop somewhere? Who knew her routine well enough to set up such a precise and devastating ambush? These were the questions at the forefront of the investigation, questions that had no easy answers. Police quickly emphasized that the attack was not random. She was targeted. That single, steady assertion has shaped all subsequent reporting and has been the focus of the multi-agency investigation. Police say the attack wasn't random, it was targeted. What do you think the motive was? Share your theories in the comments. The investigation into Ariela Mejia-Polanco's death was treated with the highest priority from the very beginning. Her high-profile status, coupled with the nature of the attack, necessitated a comprehensive and collaborative effort. Leading the case were the Westchester County Police, who were quickly joined by the New York Police Department NYPD. And notably, the FBI Safe Streets Task Force Point won the involvement of a multi-agency team signaled the seriousness of the crime and the possibility that it had ties to areas beyond a single jurisdiction. The combined resources of these agencies would be essential for piecing together a case with so many moving parts. Investigators immediately embarked on a two-pronged approach, one focused on the physical world and the other on the digital. The physical trail began at the scene of the crime. For a highway shooting, the evidence is often scattered and difficult to collect. Detectives had to meticulously reconstruct the events of that Sunday morning, analyzing bullet trajectories to understand the angle and speed of the shots. The theory that Ariela was shot while driving made this an even more painstaking process, as they had to account for a moving target and a moving shooter. But the physical evidence was only part of the story. The investigative team also focused on gathering digital traces. They knew that a corridor like the Cross County Parkway is heavily monitored. They began the tedious work of pulling traffic camera footage, seeking any vehicle that may have been following Ariela's Mercedes. They requested data from license plate readers and toll gantries along her route, hoping to find a match for a suspicious car that traveled the same path at the same time. The goal was to build a digital twin of her final moments, a second-by-second reconstruction that could pinpoint a potential assailant's vehicle. Simultaneously, a separate team of investigators began what was arguably the most crucial part of the case, retracing Ariela's digital footprint. In the world of social media influencers, a person's online life is often an open book. Police began combing through her social media, specifically her Instagram account with its more than 500,000 followers. They reviewed her public posts, looking for any clues that could point to a motive. Was she showing off new wealth, jewelry, cash, her luxury car, that could have made her a target for robbery? Was there a recent feud or a subtle hint of conflict with an online rival? Every post, every story, and every live video was a potential piece of evidence. The digital investigation went deeper still into the private realm. Police were actively examining her direct messages, DMs, and other recent contacts. They sought to understand who she was communicating with in the days and hours leading up to the shooting. Had someone arranged to meet her? Were there any threats or suspicious messages from unknown accounts? Given her public friendship with rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine, investigators also looked into her association with him, as well as her professional relationships within the nightlife and music scenes. Her life intersected with many high-profile figures, and the police were systematically exploring every connection, no matter how distant. A part of this process involved interviewing people in her extensive circle. Detectives spoke with colleagues at Opus Lounge and Icon New York to establish her schedule and who she was with on that last night. They spoke with friends and family to get a sense of her recent activities and mood. They were looking for any detail, a new person in her life, a sudden change in plans, or a dispute that could help them understand her movements and communications. The collective information gathered from these interviews helped authorities piece together a fuller picture of who Ariela was and what she was doing in the days before her death. The police were careful not to release specifics to the public, stating that they needed to protect the integrity of the ongoing case. But they were clear on their core belief: this was not a random act. The fact that the attack was targeted, combined with her high-profile lifestyle, meant investigators were looking for a motive tied directly to her life and choices. The work was slow and methodical, but every piece of information, from a traffic camera photo to a screenshot of a DM, brought them one step closer to understanding the events that led to the death of the Queen of New York. The extensive multi-agency investigation into the death of Ariela Mejia-Polanco quickly confirmed one central belief: her killing was not a random act. Authorities stated that she was targeted, a steady assertion that has defined all subsequent coverage. However, despite the comprehensive effort to trace her digital and physical movements, the case remains open. As of the most recent public reporting, police have not publicly named any suspects or described a clear motive. They have acknowledged that they are examining the social and professional circles tied to Ariela's public life, but have drawn no public conclusions. This restraint is typical, particularly in a case involving a potential interstate connection or organized elements, which is why the involvement of the FBI was noteworthy. For the public, however, the lack of answers has left a void. Her story is one of a woman who was doing something she had done countless times, driving a familiar highway home after a long shift. And yet, something or someone turned that routine into a fatal moment. This chilling reality suggests a level of planning, timing, and knowledge of her habits that has haunted both her community and the public at large. The void left by the lack of answers was immediately filled by a profound and public outpouring of grief. Within hours of the news breaking, a sense of collective loss swept through New York and across social media. Influential artists, nightlife figures, and the venues where she worked posted heartfelt tributes. Icon New York, the place where she worked her final shift, temporarily closed its doors out of respect for one of our beloved team members, writing about her incredible energy. Fans and friends left flowers at makeshift memorials outside the clubs she had graced, a physical representation of the immense love and respect she had earned. On social media, the tributes continued. Friends, family, and her over 500,000 followers filled comment sections with memories of her laughter, her loyalty, and the light she brought into every interaction. Visitation was held in New Jersey, and local news captured the massive turnout of family, friends, and followers who gathered to mourn. The collective grief proved one thing beyond any doubt. Beyond the glitz and social media bravado was a woman who was genuinely loved, a hard-working mother devoted to her children, and a person who built a powerful community around her. As police continue their work in silence, retracing every step and digital exchange, a central question remains. What happened in the gap between the moment Ariela left work at 4:30 a.m. and the moment shots were fired? It is a gap filled with possibilities, but no confirmed facts. The life of a woman who was so visible to so many ended in a private, violent act on a public road, leaving an unsolved mystery that continues to linger over the city and the community she so deeply touched.
As an influencer naturally brought about shock with her death, especially in her community. Cardi B posting R.I.P. Dominican Pretty.
That's what it really hurts, Dominican, very beautiful. Such a thing like this, very, very.
Lounge writing in part, our hearts are broken. Your joy, your humility, and the way you treated everyone with so much care always made you stand out. Police are investigating this as a targeted killing, not random, but investigators are trying to figure out who wanted the influencer dead and why. Mejia-Polanco's family tells us the 33-year-old was a great daughter and mother who leaves behind 2 children, ages 13 and 14.
I have a child too, and it's very heartbreaking to see these things.
And so there's so much more to Ariela, beyond Ariela the influencer. And despite police saying this was a targeted killing, the people who knew her personally, the people who knew her the best, they are rattled until her killer is caught. In Inwood, Anthony Carlo, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
The tragic death of Ariela Mejia-Polanco is a sobering reminder that even a life lived in the public eye is not immune to vulnerability. Her story, while deeply personal, offers several important lessons that apply to all of us. First, her case underscores the risks that come with digital exposure. Ariela's online presence was a powerful tool for her career, but it also painted a clear picture of her lifestyle, a whirlwind of expensive cars, jewelry, and luxury venues. While there's no way to know if this played a role in her murder, police did acknowledge that they were examining her posts. This serves as a vital reminder for public figures, and even for those with a smaller online presence, to consider the balance between showcasing their lives and maintaining their personal security. Posting in real time or showing off recognizable assets can sometimes make a person a target. Second, her case highlights the danger in routine. Ariela was simply doing what she did most nights, driving home after a long shift. That familiar, predictable journey became the setting for a fatal moment. This chilling fact suggests that attackers may have been tracking her movements, and it serves as a powerful cautionary tale about varying daily patterns and staying vigilant, especially during transitional moments like the drive home. Finally, Ariela's case spotlights the importance of community vigilance and law enforcement collaboration. Her story became a national headline, but in the immediate aftermath, authorities held back crucial details to protect the integrity of the investigation. The responsible action of the community, which avoided spreading unconfirmed claims, helped ensure that a mountain of misinformation didn't hinder the case. Her legacy of bringing joy and light to others can inspire us to build stronger, more supportive communities where people feel safe and empowered to report suspicious activity. Stories like Ariela's are a tragic reminder of the risks people face in the public eye. To stay informed on other cases and help us keep these stories alive, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.